So there's a significant number of women in that early clamoring for women's rights that really follow in Wollstonecraft's track. They read Wollstonecraft. The Revolution, published by Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Cady Stanton, publish her, parts of the rights of women in their publication. They're very much kind of adhere to this understanding of marriage as a collaboration, as human beings as interdependent, all these kinds of ideas that Wollstonecraft had. There's another strain of thought, though, among women's rights advocates that starts to kind of rear its head, and that comes out of after the publication of John Stuart Mill's Subjection of Women. And Mill is much more focused on women as individuals. And out of his book on liberty, that the point of liberty is for individuality and the development of individuality, which may sound somewhat like Wollstonecraft, but for Wollstonecraft, it wasn't just the development of individuality; it was the individual as a moral, as a moral person developing intellectually and morally toward a particular end, right? Which he was very clear about. So individuality on its own, could be in any which way. And so you really start to have, and Elizabeth Cady Stanton is really the first that I would want to name, Alice Paul a little bit later, who tend to have, who talk about women as individuals first and foremost. They're very much in the liberal tradition. So out of John Locke, John Stuart Mill, who see that, if you think about the social contract where, men are now individuals entering into sort of civil society. Well, think of who it was, these men could be kind of engaged in political thought and thinking about sort of political ideas. Well, why? Because their wives were at home taking care of their children. And so they enter civil society as these individuals. And so the way in which a liberal feminism starts to emerge is that for women to participate in the public sphere, they have to enter as those liberal individuals as well. And so kind of leave their children behind in some sense.